Hello, hi. Hi, this is Christine Crowle here, and welcome to the channel, the Woman CEO channel for women. However, we do accept men as well. But I just wanted to jump in here today because, again, spoken with another client today and who needed to look at auditing what costs that they were actually paying out in their agency. And, we came across some really good revelations, some good discussions. I said, we really need you to speak with your accountant to get the true figures so that we can be really pristine and to the point, to the last penny of what your true costs are. Because how can we negotiate if we don't know really what our true costs are? How do we know what is the lowest that we can go down to price-wise if we don't know what our true costs are? And this business owner, she's been going for a number of years, for example. And what I wanted to point out is that the April 2025 is right upon us, and we need to start planning and thinking about what our true costs are going to be come April 2025, so that now we can make amendments, we can make choices, we can be ahead of the game and strategize without coming to this situation where April 2025 comes and we realize that we're actually insolvent, that we've got no money coming in, for example. So I'm going to just go into this briefly, just some of the conversations that I had with my client, who was very, very grateful for the conversation that she had with me. And I've known her for a number of years now. I've had 2 calls today, which are from clients that I've known for a number of years. And I'm so grateful to them because they are doing well in their business. They're doing 5, 6, 7 figures, for example, and I'm not exaggerating, I'm saying this with truth, but there's always a pattern here. The pattern is those that do the work do really well, and that is the key. If they listen and follow the instructions as well as working with us, then they seem to do extremely well, and I'm really pleased about that because this is the reason why I set this up from day one, from 2014. This is what I wanted to happen, is for people to be self-reliant and to work with me and not expect coaches to do everything for them, because that is disabling you. You're not going to be strong from that. You will end up being weak and you won't be able to face your challenges. Now, these 2 people are looking at their challenges, and although it is difficult and sometimes it is stressful, care is very, very stressful, but they're looking at what their challenges are and they're going to be overcoming them. So what we went through just briefly, the second client that I spoke to today, is we talked about the national insurance. She booked the link for the staff audit, for example, and what she's paying out in the company. And I'm going to be speaking with her again next week once she's got some more figures so that I can truly break down to the hour what the cost is to the penny. Now, I have another meeting training at 5 p.m. today with a client who is going through this same thing, the audit, as well as some scenarios as well. Okay, so we all know that April 2025, that the UK government, that you, the employer, is responsible for the employees' national insurance contributions, NIC, for example. So the employer's national insurance rates, this is currently at the moment 13.8, but it's going up to 15% earnings above, say, 5,000 a year, for example. But there's also a secondary threshold as well. The threshold of where employers start paying national insurance will decrease from 9,100, for example. There's also, so there's 15% on top of the increase of the hourly rate. Now the hourly rate is £12.21. Then you're looking at the £12.21. Then you're looking at, depending where they are in the threshold, then you're looking at an increase, for example, of 15% national insurance employers that you got to put on top of that hourly rate, because whatever you're paying your staff member is not that rate, it is more. So you have to be real and understand the truth of what you're actually paying. So this is for people aged 21 and over. And remember, I did a discussion on a video yesterday about you looking at taking on apprentices in the UK, for example, where you're paying £7.55 per hour. You can get virtual assistants, and you can get an agency and make sure things are being supervised and run properly, and that you've got some accountability there in case things go wrong, for example. So like I said, we are a virtual assistant agency as well. Okay, so the £12.21 is going to be the hourly rate come April 2025, for example. Then you've got to think about your national insurance that's going to go on top of that, which is 15%. Then the next thing you need to be thinking about is the pension. So the pension, it all depends what the person is earning, for example, but the pension is not changing. The rate is still 3%, but you've got to put 3% on the qualifying earnings to the workplace pension, which is what all employers have to pay, for example. So I'm not going to go into the apprenticeship levy, for example. I will talk about the employment allowance, which reduces the employer's NIC liability, will increase from 5,000 to 10,500 per year, for example. Now, like I said, we've got this rate at £12.21. Then you've got to think about the 15% on top of that £12.21, which should bring it to, for example, £12.81, for example. Then you've got to think about your pension, employer's pension. Then there's 3% on top of that. So when you look at this rate, for example, and you'll need to get your accountant to do that, because I am not an accountant, okay? I'm just a woman that has been doing businesses for 35 years, and I've ran multiple businesses. I'm not ashamed to say that I've been a will writer. I've done wills and trust, and I've done tests. I've worked for companies. I've worked for law firms doing that as well. I've done lasting power of attorneys. I've done trusts, because even though you're a director, you still need to ensure that you've got a will, so that if anything happens to you, you don't want the money to be split with the other directors that have survived. You want it to go to your family, right? So another thing that I'm going to be talking about is wills and trusts, but I would highly recommend that you get a will done for you as the business owner, so that if anything happens to you during the business, then you want your shares to go to your family members, not split between directors. So be really clear on that. Look at what properties you've got, whether you've got UK properties or properties abroad. They are separate. They cannot be the same will, because it's according to the law, for example. So I just wanted to quickly say that. Okay. So for example, the £12.21. Then you've got the 3%, which then makes that £3.60 per hour, for example. Okay. Then you've got your national insurance, which is about £81 per hour. Sorry, 81 pence per hour. So let's look at this. £12.21 times 0.15. That makes that 183. Already with the national insurance and the hourly rate, the national minimum wage, that brings it up to £14.04, for example. Then you've also got your pension. £36. So already, without holiday pay being added on, for example, without any sick pay, without any training, for example, that you pay for your employer, the rate, just to really begin with, before you really start putting things on, is £14.41 per hour. Sorry, £14.40 per hour. That is what you'll be paying someone from £12.21. Now, I'm not even talking about holiday pay here. I'm not even going into, if someone does over 40 hours a week, what is the pay going to be then, for example? We've got to really think about what you're going to be paying out. Then you've got your software that you're thinking about. Then you've also got any training portals that you've got that you pay for your staff members. Then you've got HR software that you're paying for your staff members. What does that cost you per month? Then you divide it by the number of staff members to give you the true hourly rate, for example, and the number of hours of work that you cover within your organization. It gets divided, for example. What else do you pay out for? You pay for your mobile phones, right? You pay for your desktop phones, for example. You may do teas and coffee if you've got an office. Maybe you've got an office. You may be paying for an office. Then look at what that cost is per month. Can you get a smaller office, or can you get out of it altogether? Depends whether you're CQC registered. That's another story, for example. But it also depends on the accommodation that you've got available, because maybe you could work from home if you've got a separate office that is lockable, etc., and is not shared with family members. So really think about what you are currently paying out to really work out what your true figures are. Because what I've noticed is, and I've spoken to 2 clients today over the phone and helping them with a few things, what I've noticed is that there's been no increase in the client that they're working with. They haven't increased their hourly rate. Some have actually reduced it slightly. So please be mindful that you've got to know what your true figures are in your business, so that you can really know what is the lowest that I can go down to without me working at a loss. Because some of you are working at a loss in your business because you don't understand all of this and how it works. And I was also doing that as well many years ago. I'm not saying that I'm wonderful and great. I'm terrible at maths. But I know now, because I've seen what's happened in the past. And it's so important that we do look at what these rates are, because your staff members may see you and think, oh yeah, they're making loads of money. Oh, I want that business because they look like they're making loads of money. You don't know what they're paying for. You haven't got a clue. Are they really making a true profit? Because although you may have it on paper and you're paying out loads of money, it's like this. You just spending out left, right and centre. What is your true profit that you get to take home for yourself? Net profit. After you've been taxed. What is it? That's what you need to be aware of. Don't fall into the traps that I've fallen into. Like I've said, I've had multiple businesses because I've done multiple things in my life. My goodness, I'm nearly 60. So, of course, I've been in business for 35 years. Of course, I'm going to have lots of businesses, and some of them worked and some of them didn't. And when I moved here to Cyprus, it didn't make sense for me to pay 2 lots of taxes. Why would I pay tax in Cyprus and then tax in the UK? My accountant told me to stop doing that. The lawyer told me to stop doing that because it was dead money, wasted, that I could have put somewhere good, for example. So we got to really look at what we're spending out truly. Don't just think, oh, this business is making money. Oh, I'm doing really well. Look at the bottom line. Look at what you're paying for, because sometimes we don't know until the end of the year, till the accountant gives us the figures. Then we're like, oh, is that what we've made? It could be good or it could be bad. If it's good, then you've got more taxes to pay. If it's bad, then you're like, oh, I've wasted a whole year, for example. So I hope that was helpful for you. Please do book a free 15-minute audit so I can go through the list with you. And then what I'd like you to do is to go back and sit with your accountant, for example, or get the figures from your software. Even the software, you got to put that down, what that's costing you. If you've got invoice finance, what is that costing you, the 3%? Payroll, what is that costing you? Your accountancy fees, what is that costing you? Any legal fees that you have, uniforms, training, the list goes on. So I'd like you to really take your time to do that, but book a free 15-minute with me so I can go through that with you, and then I can say to you, look, find out about this, that, and the other, and then book again so I can go through the audit with you so that you know what your true hourly rate really is and should be, and should not go under. Otherwise you are at a loss, and that's no good for you. Sometimes things look good on paper, but when you look at it, when you've got all your staff members that you're paying out, all the taxes you're paying out, you might as well just work for yourself. You earn more money. Sometimes you look at it that way. Or you scale, but you're going to scale to a bigger way, which, that's going to take 5 years or more to really scale your business, to see that income come in, where you become very wealthy, like 10 million or more. That's when you're at true, kind of like a true wealth. You're getting there. But to me, my health is my wealth. And that's all I care about, is my family, my wealth, and helping my clients to wake up and do things for themselves and understand their business, because it's your DNA. And only you can understand it. Even your accountant can't understand it. You know your business. So I hope that was helpful for you today. I'm going to be coming on here later on today again. You're going to see me again. And I'm going to be talking about, because we're looking for 9 coaches now. Okay, so we're looking at 10 coaches starting next year, January, the first quarter. So we're looking for 10 coaches. All that we ask the coaches to do is to pay for the boot camp, attend the boot camp, see whether you like it, so I can see how you work as well. And then you can then become a coach if you fit the criteria, because there's an application, and I will pick the best out of the 9 people, for example. Otherwise you have to wait until the second part of the year to come on, for example, and then you can become a coach, and I can show you how to become a coach as well. All right, so I hope that you've enjoyed this training today. I look forward to you being on the live tonight, and I will speak to you on the internet. Take care. Thank you. The link will be here somewhere as well. Please do like and subscribe so that this can go out to more people. YouTube will share it with more people as well. All right, so have a wonderful day, everyone. Take care. Thank you. Goodbye.